Anxiety disorder. This often begins as something small, a few worries here and there, the kind most people experience from time to time. But gradually, those worries stop coming and going, and instead, settle in, becoming part of everyday life. A person might wake up already feeling tense, as if something is about to go wrong, even when nothing is happening. Simple decisions can feel overwhelming, and the mind constantly searches for problems to solve or dangers to avoid. Over time, the body joins in with restlessness, fatigue, and difficulty concentrating. What makes anxiety disorder different is how it turns ordinary life into something that feels uncertain and exhausting, even in moments that should feel safe. An estimated 4% to 5% of the global population currently lives with an anxiety disorder, making them the most common mental health condition worldwide. Post-traumatic stress disorder. This develops after a moment that was too intense for the mind to fully process. The event may be over, but it doesn't stay in the past. Instead, it returns in flashes, in dreams, or in sudden reactions to sounds and places that resemble what happened. A person might feel constantly on edge, as if danger could appear at any time. At the same time, they may avoid reminders of the experience, even if it means distancing themselves from people or places they once loved. It's as though the mind is trying to protect itself, but in doing so, it keeps the person stuck in that moment. Bipolar disorder. This condition feels like living between two very different worlds. In one phase, there is energy, confidence, and a sense that everything is possible. Ideas come quickly, sleep may feel unnecessary, and decisions are made with little hesitation. Then, without warning, the shift happens. Energy fades, motivation disappears, and even small tasks feel heavy. The contrast between these states can be confusing and overwhelming. What defines bipolar disorder is not just the highs or the lows, but the way they cycle, creating a rhythm that can be difficult to predict or control. Eating disorder. This often begins quietly, with thoughts about food, weight, or appearance that slowly become more intense. Eating is no longer just about hunger, but about control, comfort, or coping with emotions. A person might restrict what they eat, overeat in moments of stress, or feel guilt and shame around food. Over time, these patterns become harder to break, affecting both physical health and emotional well-being. What makes eating disorders complex is how deeply they are tied to identity, self-image, and the need for control in a world that may feel unpredictable. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. This can feel like having a mind that moves faster than the moment. Thoughts jump from one idea to another, making it hard to stay focused on a single task. A person might start something with enthusiasm, only to lose interest quickly and move on. There can also be a sense of restlessness, as if staying still or waiting is uncomfortable. In childhood, it may look like constant movement, but in adulthood, it often shows up as disorganization or difficulty managing time. What defines ADHD is not a lack of ability, but a challenge in directing attention and controlling impulses. Dissociative identity disorder. This condition is often rooted in experiences that were too overwhelming to face all at once. Instead of processing everything as a single identity, the mind separates into different parts, each holding certain memories or emotions. These identity states may take turns being in control, sometimes without full awareness of each other. A person might feel gaps in memory, or a sense that their identity shifts over time. It is not something that happens suddenly, but rather develops as a way to cope and survive. What makes it unique is how the mind creates distance from pain by dividing the sense of self. Dissociative identity disorder is estimated to affect approximately 1% to 1.5% of the global population. Obsessive-Compulsive Disorder. This often feels like being caught in a loop that keeps repeating. An unwanted thought appears, bringing anxiety or discomfort with it. To reduce that feeling, a person performs a specific action, like checking, cleaning, or repeating something. For a moment, the anxiety fades, but it doesn't stay away for long. The thought returns, and the cycle continues. Even when the person knows the behavior may not make logical sense, it feels necessary. Over time, these patterns can take up a significant part of the day, making simple routines feel exhausting. Approximately 1.1% to 3% of the global population has obsessive-compulsive disorder.
Paranoia.
This involves a deep and persistent sense that others may be watching, judging, or intending harm. It doesn't always come from clear evidence, but the feeling itself can be very real and convincing. A person might begin to question people's intentions, even those they trust, and small events can be interpreted as signs of something negative. Over time, this can lead to isolation, as it becomes harder to feel safe around others. What defines paranoia is not just suspicion, but the intensity and persistence of that mistrust. Sleep disorder. This affects the body's natural rhythm of rest and wakefulness. For some, it means lying awake for hours, unable to fall asleep even when tired. For others, it may involve waking frequently, having restless sleep, or feeling exhausted even after a full night in bed. Sleep disorders can also include conditions where the timing of sleep is disrupted, making it hard to align with daily routines. Over time, lack of proper rest affects mood, concentration, and overall health. What makes these disorders significant is how something as basic as sleep can influence every part of life. Schizophrenia. This condition changes how reality is experienced. A person may hear voices that others do not, or believe things that feel completely true, but are not shared by those around them. Thoughts can become difficult to organize, making communication challenging. It can feel like the boundary between what is real and what is not has become unclear. Despite how it is often misunderstood, many people with schizophrenia work towards stability with treatment and support. What defines it is the way perception, thought, and reality itself are affected. Depression. This often feels like a slow dimming of everything that once felt bright. A person may lose interest in activities they used to enjoy, finding it difficult to feel motivated or engaged. Even simple tasks can feel heavy, as if they require more energy than is available. There may be changes in sleep, appetite, and focus, but the deeper experience is emotional, a sense of emptiness or disconnection. What makes depression especially challenging is how quietly it can take over, affecting thoughts, feelings, and daily life all at once.